Welcome to Analytics with Nags. In this video, we're going to see about a real world project like Tableau to Power BI migration. So it can be a vice versa. Your current organization or company holding a Tableau reports and users are consuming reports from that. And you are planning to migrate to Power BI or vice versa. It can be both the case. So how to do it? So what are the key aspects you need to consider while doing a migration? That is what we are going to look into this video. And I'm dividing this into two parts. One is like high level comparison between Tableau and Power BI. And then I'm going to demonstrate one of the Tableau report that how you will do it in Power BI. Let's check in this video. If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button to learn the real world projects in Power BI. So let us begin with comparing the features of Power BI and Tableau. So whether the free version is available, yes, you have Power BI, everything for a personal use is free, like the desktop version is free. But in case of Tableau, you have only the trial version, 14 days, that obviously most of them are. And you can use desktop as well as for in case of Tableau, both having their own desktop version to develop your reports. Both tools supports R and Python as well as cross filtering, as you guys know, like cross filtering, like you want to filter one particular report, then chart, then that will filter others. So those kind of functionalities available in both the tools. AI enabled, like some kind of prediction and some kind of AI capabilities are enabled, like in case of Power BI we have a decomposition tree. I'm pretty much not sure about Tableau, but it also contains some kind of AI visuals as well. And search with NLP, yes, obviously question and answer is available in Power BI. And data preparation tools, there is no dedicated data preparation tool in on-premise or desktop version, but in case of Tableau you have a separate data preparation tool. And sooner or later from the Microsoft people, I came to know that they're going to have a separate preparation tool similar to Tableau or any other ETL tools. So Power BI is going to release it soon. And you have built-in row level security. Yes, the RLS is available in both. Mixed model types, as you know, it's live and import. Yes, you can connect both the things here. Commenting and collaboration, yes, both will be shared in the reports, or once it is shared, whether it can be shared to some other people. Yes, obviously that is the main purpose. The BI tools, these two top-notch tools evolved. Embedding these reports, yes. Then custom visualization, yes, in case of Power BI, like you can download from other vendors, or mostly it is from the Power BI, and there are some people who can download from external visuals as well. Mobile apps, in both the case it is yes. So these are the mostly the high level comparison, the features in both the tools are supporting. So based on whichever is best, you can go for it. It is not I'm saying everything is yes for Power BI, I need to go for it. So it's based upon your choice. So whatever from my understanding, from my working experience in Power BI as well as in Tableau, I compared this. Let's look into Power BI in full here. So you have compared, now we know what are the things that Power BI can do or Tableau can do. Now in case of Power BI, you need to understand there is two versions of deployment. Like once you deploy it, how it can be accessed. Like one is the cloud way, another one is on-premise. So you have Power BI desktop, which using you can create the reports and you will deploy it in the cloud. So it depends upon your configuration. It can be a private cloud or it can be a public cloud. Those things will be comes under billing section, but you can deploy it in the cloud. Then you can access it. On contrast, you do not trust Microsoft Cloud, or some people even it depends upon your data security rules in your organization. You want to go for on-premise, so you can have a report server where you can see the two database here. One is report server and report server tempdb, where this report server sits in your environment. Then you can give access to the users, all the security rules, everything apply. So just comparison between the Tableau and in case of Power BI over here. So you can connect to the data sources. Both the Tableau and Power BI connect to various data sources. Whereas you have Tableau data preparation for ETL, you use the data preparation in Tableau in case you are using Tableau. In case of Power BI, it is an on-cloud version. When you choose this path, okay, so in that case, this data flows are nothing but it does the ETL using a Power Query M language, and the data is stored in a Azure data lake. So for that, you no need to pay any extra cost that covers with the pro or premium licensing. But the data is stored in the Azure data lake storage. In case of Tableau, it will be like the custom hyperfile, or it can be called as CSV also. I hope in recent releases we can export it to CSV. From there you can read the Tableau desktop version, can read it. So similarly, from the data flows once you stored, you can go for data sets. So this is flow. What you have to do a migration. So these whatever you did it in data prep, you can do it in data flows. Then data sets remain same, where you store the model, how you were designed. Then from that you can generate the reports. This is in case you go for a cloud. In case if you use for, go for opt for a Power BI report server, so you need to have a dedicated data warehouse here. I hope you will be having. And Power BI desktop, it can read from either tabular or multi-dimensional on-premise version, and then you can deploy it in report server, where it is stored. All the reports are stored in report server and report server temp DBs. Then from there, people can consume the report. So basically the ETL part, maybe if you are going for on-premise, you do not have data flows, but you can have the data flows functionalities as well. But mostly if you are going for on-premise, then you might have having your own ETL tools like SSIS or Informatica, any other ETL tools that populates the data into data warehouse, and then you can do this following flow. So this should be your approach in case of on-premise. Okay. So finally, you need to decide on what should be my configuration, because in case of licensing, you have pro and premium capacity and where to store, all the other confusion in case you go for Power BI, right? So ask these questions before deciding. Is your data source in your BI tool is direct queries live connection? Yes, then create direct query in Power BI. Okay, dataset should be use the direct query. If the answer is no, then is your data source imported by a snapshot? Whether you are importing the data, then yes. Then if it is less than, or if it is larger than 10 GB, then you need enterprise level development security and scale. If the answer is yes, then go for Azure Analysis Service. Like if you want import mode, but your dataset is more than 10 GB, then you need to go for Analysis Service to store in case of, because when you have an import and you have a large number of data, Power BI can handle everything. So you need to go for analysis service, then you can store it. If it is no, then premium workspace. At least you need to go for premium workspace if you do not want enterprise level development. If your data size is less than 10 GB, then you can manage everything with the workspaces and datasets. That should be enough, fair enough. Do you create data source using a Power BI tools ETL prep mashups without help of IT? Then yes. Do you want ETL pipeline centralized and dependent from your report shared with other people on the web service? Then yes. Go for Power BI data flows. Basically, like you are using the report and that is ETL preparation tool in Tableau. Then if you want to be centralized, right, and independent from your report, that is report and ETL should not be considered in parallel, right? I mean, you are not doing ETL for the reports, then it is independent, then you can go for Power BI data flows. Otherwise, you can use Power BI Desktop with Power Query and create the dataset, right? So if it is specific to one particular reports and your model, I mean, when you want to go for data flow is like your ETL flows is not dependent on your reports. ETL should fetch the data and store the staging area. From there, multiple reports should consume. Then you can go for data flows. That is what it is meant. So these are some questions you need to ask and which path you need to choose. Let's end up this first session. Let us go for the second session by demonstrating a real-time Tableau report, how you can do it in Power BI. Let's see it. So I'm in Tableau desktop, and you see here I have connected to the Excel, and there are two sheets in this Excel, and I have created the relationship using item name. So let me show the data. So item master contains my list of items, and your data is nothing but your sales transactions happened for 3 months. So this is your data. Now, what things you need to understand in terms of Power BI? Let us try to import this data and we will go step by step. And before that, let me explain what are the things available in this Tableau report. We are going to migrate exact this Tableau report into Power BI. Okay, those who are familiar with Tableau, and you will understand what is this sheets and what is this dashboard is all about. And as I said before, this is can be used for either Tableau to Power BI migration and Power BI to Tableau migration as well. So for those who are not from Tableau background, for them, I want to clarify them like what is the sheet and dashboard. So basically in Tableau, in order to create one chart, you can create one chart using a sheet. Let's try to understand it. You can see the tab here. So this is a sheet. If you want to create some item quantity wise and I mean how many items sold, right? I need to drag and drop like this. I want to see the item name in the column and item quantity in the rows. So you can create only one chart in the sheets. You may not create another chart. I mean different charts you can choose it. Okay. So you can create only one chart in a sheet. Unlike in Power BI, each sheet can be considered as a dashboard. So once we create the dashboard in Power BI, you will understand it much better. So basically in a sheet you can create one chart and these sheets will appear. Now you can see here the new sheet whatever I created will appear here. From here you can drag and drop and use that visual. So in the dashboard, this is the main difference. So let us directly jump into the Power BI and how to create it. For that, let me log in into Power BI. I want to launch it, and for those who are from directly from Tableau and they want to migrate, try to understand the Power BI architecture here. Let us quickly see it. So we already seen all these things, and what I want to learn is like, this is the main thing you need to understand. So your data sources can be Excel and database, whatever the Tableau connects to. And in case of Power BI, you have three parts. One is Power Query, Power Pivot, and Power View. So I can say like these two parts are combined in Tableau, where as soon as you import the data, you will do the modeling. Modeling is nothing but creating relationship, and then you create a calculated columns or measures, and this is what Tableau does directly. And in case of Power BI, you have another layer where you can do all your transformations. Like you can consider the Tableau data prep. Tableau prep tool is embedded in Power BI. It's part of Power BI. That is what the Power Query is. It's basically does the lot of ETL tools, lot of cleaning activities. This is what a Power Query is. So as soon as you connect, you can do the transformation, and then it will input it to the Power Pivot. So in order to create a column, either you can create a column here or in the modeling layer in case of Power BI. Whereas in Tableau, you can create a calculated column only once in one area that will be stored in the Tableau reports. But here there is option of creating two places, and where to create a calculated column, you will just try to watch my Power Query playlist and complete Power BI tutorials. There you will understand step by step. I mean to say, when you need to use Power Query or when you need to use DAX. This is fine. So basically it is ETL. And one more thing I want to highlight is like, here whatever query you write is a M query, and here it is a DAX language you will create, and then you create charts. So this is what I want to highlight. And once you launch the Power BI desktop, then you can get the data and start reporting. So basically, like here in page 1 is like a dashboarding, so you can directly start creating your reports in the same sheet. Unlike in Tableau, you need to create individual charts in different sheets and then combine it to dashboard here. Even in Power BI you have a dashboard, but we will take it later step by step. Let us try to launch from here. So we will create the same report, but maybe we will not get the similar one. Let us try to get that file first. Where it is here, source, tutorials, and then here. There you go. So same tables, these two tables. So either you can directly load it and then you can transform the data. Otherwise, you can press directly load it. Let me tell you what I meant. See, transforming a data, if you want to do the transform, so it will redirect to Power Query. When you load it, so this will be automatically pass this step, and then you will launch this Power Pivot. Okay, for simplicity we will go for this option. I mean, directly load the data, then try to create some reports, then we will try to compare what you have to do it in Tableau as well as in Power BI. So I'm just loading this data. So once you load it, you can see the data. Similarly, how you can view the data results in Tableau. So we have loaded it. So you get the fields here. The two tables are displayed here. In order to see the data, you need to go to this tab. So data, and you can see the data for this particular table and item master over here. So it is same like data sources over here. Once you import, you will see the sheets or the different sources. Then in order to create a relationship, you drag and drop the tables here and you will set the relationship, right? So same way in Power BI, you go to modeling tab where you have different tables. then you need to create the relationship like this. And you see the one-to-many relationship. I hope in order to understand more about relationship, just watch my complete playlist. So for simplicity, this will be act as a dimension, this will be act as a fact, so you can filter from this to here. This is the flow, the filter will flow from here to here. That is what it is. And you can see here the same chart I want to replicate whatever we designed here. So item wise, I want to see the sales amount. So for that, you have a visualization pane here where you can see the item amount and you can see item name, and you need which chart, the cluster chart. So this will appear like this. So you will get this chart. So another chart, if you want to make some other information, let's go to do this one, or this chart, exactly this bubble chart is not available in Power BI. Maybe we'll need to find a way. For simplicity, we will go for pie chart. So here it is, online or offline order. So you click on this, then item quantity. So it will appear here. So you can see it is like you can start creating the dashboard in the same page. So this is what I meant. So you need to create different charts in different sheets, and then you create the dashboard. But in Power BI, in the single page you create multiple charts. This is the main difference I want to highlight. And what else? You see here, this is the previous month, and I mean to say the calculation for this is you have the sales amount and you have created the previous month here. The previous month formula, you can see this is the calculated column, and let me edit it and show you the formula. It uses the lookup of sum of item amount minus 1. So basically this lookup function you may be familiar with, those who are familiar worked in Tableau. So for this month, lookup means minus 1 means you go minus 1 from the index, then get that value, and from here you go and get that value. That is what it is showing, 43,800, and for this there is no previous month, so it doesn't show anything. So this is works based on index. I think in case of Tableau, like lookup, maybe this is, but the idea behind this is like in order to do the time-based calculation, current month and previous month like this, you need to use a DAX, that is calculated measure, right? So the time intelligence measures. So again, I have created a separate playlist for it. Just go and watch it. For now, let us try to create that measure. Let me try to create that one using a DAX, and then we can do it other functions as well. So again, you see item amount. First, we will try to have the month-wise sales here. Whatever you see there, then we can go for the actual value. So same amount you are getting it here, you see it in a table, so there is no table available here. I think we need to use the matrix table for that if you want the exact view like this. You see here, so same thing appear here to 2020 January, February, March. Okay, so this is how you got it here. And whatever formatting you need to do, that will be available here. In case of Tableau, you see here when we go to this particular chart, you need to change the color of this particular type, means you need to put size over here, so different colors it will appear, right? So here, in case I'm not getting, created the previous month value because I want to focus on basics first, then I will come to this next. So now in order to do the formatting, when you create it, you can go here, you can do all the options over here. So similar colors, like you want to do some gradient based on the sales. So there is no concept of drag and dropping different amount. So same concept applies here. You need to choose based on which amount. Then you can choose the color gradient. So same kind of stuff over here, and you can choose the value. So what it does is based on the item amount, and if it is lowest, this should be the color and this should be the highest. The same way how the Tableau works. This is how you can format the things. So a lot of formatting options, you can explore it. Then what else I want to highlight is like I hope this is fine. And before coming to this previous month sales, let us try to create some calculated column here, and similar thing you can create it in the Power BI. So this is the calculated column we have created. Let us drop it and recreate it, or we can see the formula first. Let me take this one and then close without saving and then delete. So this is our table, and then in order to create a calculated column, what is my calculated column here? The calculated column is nothing but I want if the cost price is greater than 600, then it is considered as expensive, otherwise it is economical. That is a formula I want to write. So you can create a calculated field here, right? So this is cost classification. Let me write that, then I paste that formula here, then click on apply. So here you can see you have created the calculated column. So this is done in one single place. Now when you go to the any tab, the cost classification appears under this as a column. It is not a measure, and you can always create a measure. Whatever you classified as a number here, it is a measures, right? Numerical values. Similarly, in Power BI, you can see all the numerical values with the summation symbol are considered as measure. Okay. And then now coming to this point, I need to create this calculated column where I will create. So this is what I meant here. Either you can do this calculated column or measure here, okay, and or here. So basically using DAX, either you can create calculated column or calculated measure. But in case of Power Query, it is basically you are creating a calculated column. So the calculated column, when it comes to calculated column, it will have two options, either here or here. When it comes to a measure, you can create only here. That is the thumb rule. Measures, your nothing but your calculations will work dynamically. Just go and watch my DAX playlist. This is fine. So now we will create that same column in the Power Query. So in order to go back to that step, I am in Power Pivot now in this step. Now I want to go here and add that column. So how to do it? I went here, click on this table. Now you can write that formula. So how to write it? Add a column, custom column, and you can start writing that formula. So here it is if the cost price, you can drag and drop cost price greater than what 600, then you can write then what is the case, expensive, otherwise it is economical. That's it. So you can write like this. So you have a column here. This is product classification. So this is how you can create a calculated column in Power BI. However you create it, most of the calculated column I recommend to use Power query, I mean to say the M query. So there is always argument like whether you need to create a calculated column here or here. I would say when it comes to a calculated column, go with Power Query. That's fine. Now I have created it here, and there is other option. Either you can use that a custom column, or you can even use this column as well. You see here cost price is greater than 600. Okay, I will say short form for the same thing, echo, and it's not expensive, and otherwise it is echo, else case, right? So I created short form music. So now I didn't write a code, I used some kind of GUI. Like, so this is the main advantage of using Power BI. You have a lot of GUI option, and you can use replace options, all other stuffs. This is absolutely fine. So I have created a column, and then in order to reflect this changes, all these changes to reflect here, you close and apply here. Then those columns, all the changes applied will be appearing here. Okay, you see here item master. Now you will get product class that will have the actual data. So that appeared here. So you can make use of it. So just trying to explain you, if you want to create some calculated column or you want to do some measures, you can do it here. So same way, in order to create some kind of measures here, right? So let us try to create a maximum item amount, right? I want to create maximum item amount. Create calculated field. Here I will say max item amount, or you can, it can be a simple sum also, just I'm creating it. So here we have named it as maximum item amount. Edit max item amount. So this is the way you will write the calculation here, right? The same way you can go and create the measures over here. So here new measure. Okay, in case of Tableau you have calculated field only. I mean to say, if you want to create some calculation, you always go for create calculated field. So okay, in case of Power BI, you need to choose appropriately, either calculated column or measure. So whatever we created earlier, it's a calculated column, that is economical or expensive. In this case it involves some kind of calculations, either it can be sum of sales or maximum, or you need to filter some condition. I want only the online order sales alone. So like that, you want to do calculation, you need to go for the measure. So it is very simple measure now. Max of sales amount, max of data item amount, that is my column. Just press enter. There you go, it is max item. That's fine. So this is the thing I want you to clarify, when to use calculated column, when to use a measure. So this is the point. Now coming back, final point about this particular calculation, like these are called time intelligence functions, where you need to use a date column. For that we need to especially use this date column. So in this case we need to write some kind of measure only, right? So that will dynamically calculates based on the different inputs here or different filter context. So let me write previous month sales equals calculate. So you need to use a calculate function. This is purely DAX. The calculate does all the magics. So what we need to calculate? We need to calculate sum of item amount, which is nothing but the sales amount, and then there is some function called parallel period. So parallel period of, and you need to put the date, sale date, date, number of intervals 1, and what you want. I want previous month, right? So you need to put -1 since you are going 1 month before, right? You put enter. Then you, in this visual, you can use the data here. Let us try to see it here in this view. This will be looking perfectly all right. What happened? Let us try to see the data by the order. See, you see here the January you are appearing, and February it is the previous month sales. So in order to filter it out, you need to write again, you need to correct this tax. That is absolutely fine. We are not spending too much time in this. I mean, this is the thing I want to highlight. You need to write such a calculations, you need to go for DAX. This is absolutely fine. Now you see here the same Tableau report, the dashboard, whatever we did here, it is appearing. You have a bar chart and the previous month, current month, order type, and whether it's online and offline. Then you have a filter pane. So in Power BI, you have a filter pane here. You can add all the objects. So unlike here, you see like you will add it as a filter pane, add into filter pane like that. You can add other filters as well. I mean to say you can add any filters that you want. So you see you can add item filters on this page, will have filters on this particular page, and you if you have multiple pages, filter on all pages, that filter will be applied. So each page acts as a dashboard. You can have multiple charts or visuals. In case of Power BI, we will show it as not charts, it's a visual. So I can add data card. So you can explore different options here, like item amount I can add. So I can put it at the top, and I can set the background. So whatever formatting you want, you can do it here. Let me add some background. This looks better. That's it about the basics. So one last thing I want to highlight is like interactions, where when you publish this dashboard, when you click on this, whether this should filter or not, you can set it right. I mean, in case of Power BI, like I mean in case of Tableau, you see here you have option use as a filter. When you set use as a filter, while executing it, when you click on it, the all the visuals will filter based on your option you have set here. So these options you can do it here, that is edit interactions. Put it like this. What I'm trying to say is this is the default behavior of Power BI. When you filter on chart, all charts will filter, but the overall value also shown. This is highlighted is 7200, but actual value is the total value. The whole line is 11600, 6100. But I don't want to show that only the actual value after filtering. Okay, so in that case, you click on it, then say it as to filter. Okay, when you click on it, this will filter. So these are the things, some of the things, the comparison between Tableau and Power BI. This is how the core basics. So once we have developed everything, and I was just logged in, and you can deploy this report in the cloud, or you can, if it is in on-premise, you can deploy it in your on-premise server. So I'm deploying it here. And so once we deploy this report, we can go and check in the Power BI cloud. Like this is the Power BI server, app.powerbi.com, where your reports are deployed here. So you have different pages you can navigate to, whatever pages you created, and in the Power BI services in your workspace, you can create the dashboard. So that dashboard part comes over here. See here, dashboard, I will say sales and click on create. So here what will happen is like you have created the dashboard and you can pin your reports. So just try to launch that report, and what options you have is like pin this dashboard to this particular whatever dashboard you have created. We have created sales, and earlier I also created some sales. So this is how you can create your dashboards. So the dashboard concept do exist in Power BI as well, but the thing is, like, the dashboard in you are not creating dashboard in Power BI desktop, whereas you create your dashboards in Power BI services. Let us try to quickly recap the things that we have seen now. From Tableau to Power BI is like, when you have a calculated column, you need to create either in Power Query or Power Pivot, or that is in a modeling. And in case of measures, you need to create in Power Pivot modeling only. And in case of you have some calculated fields based on the date, same period last year, quarter, MTD, all those things, you need to create measure again. This is the thumb rule. And we have finally, once you deploy these reports into Power BI services, you can create the dashboards. That is what we have seen here. I hope you like this video. Comment below for queries, and do remember that data is your asset.